safe and Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our school board meeting. Opening items, call to order.
Good evening. Trustees present tonight are Trustee Contreras, Trustee Arellano, Trustee Castillo, Trustee Calderon, and Trustee Aviña. You have a quorum.
Thank you. To Pledge of Allegiance, we have our former mayor here today, Camilo Garcia. Can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Thank you. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. So we have presentations. The first one, Measure Q construction update. Mr. Jimenez, who's presenting on this?
Yes, thank you so much, President Aviña. At this time, I would like to ask our Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, along with our partners with Sanders Architect and Balfour Beatty Construction, to the podium as they're going to provide an update to the board and our community on Measure Q project.
Good evening, President Aviña, trustees, Superintendent Jimenez, community and colleagues. Thank you for being here tonight. I have the privilege of introducing the gentlemen who are going to be presenting the, giving you the Measure Q update this evening. Tonight we have both of our partners that are helping us with this project. They'll talk about the different increments that we're working on right now. And right now we're right in the middle of increment 1 and we're moving into increment 2. They'll give you a lot more detail. But our partners include, of course, Mr. Jesus Aguilera from Sanders. As you well know, Sanders represents the district in many of the projects that we do. And then Balfour Beatty. Balfour Beatty is a contractor for this project. And they have also helped us with other projects in our school district in the past. So without further ado, I give you Mr. Jesus Aguilera and Mikel San Sebastian. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mikel San Sebastian. I'm the project manager for this project. Currently, we're on increment 1, finishing up. Oh. Sorry. As you know, this is right behind this area. That's our job site trailer. We've been finalizing the installation of utilities. This is the installation of the fire hydrant, the curb at the end with the pedestrian access that went right up to the street. Installation of the utilities, including the gas, the water, and the sewer. We did all the earthwork, including the overex and removal of the bad soils. That shows all the export of the dirt. That was a 2-week operation with up to 100 trucks per day. That's some of the items that we found under one of the pads. It's the removal and abandonment of everything that we found. That includes the lines that we got up to all of the new buildings that are going to be built under increment 2. We had some work done by the IID, including the installation of powering up the switch gear, and they had to turn or rotate one of the transformers. So increment 1, the scope was the utilities, the excavation and the rough grading, and the PV shades, which is by another it's another contract, not ours. And we're scheduled to be completed next month. And that includes the building of the pads, all the backfill of the overexed building for the foundations. Increment 2. Turn it over to Jesus.
I'm just going to give you a brief good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Superintendent, members of the public. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go over in a quick overview, high-level scope of work for the increment 2. That's part of the buildings. This is one of the main renderings for the perspective view on the administration building. That's one of the, this is another perspective view of the administration building through that main corridor in between the buildings for 600, 700, and 500. This is another perspective view for the, that's looking into the multipurpose cafeteria building. What we're presenting right now is also some of the material boards, and material boards are all of the material finishes that are planned to go into the buildings. Right here we have 2 boards. We only brought 2 to here so that you can see them, but the rest are in the administration section of the building. Like I said, these slides represent the material finishes for the new upcoming buildings. Building 700 and 800, which is our classroom buildings. STEM buildings. Our building 900 is the doghouse. Our increment 2 scope is, I'm happy to say that we're out to bid. So the bidding process, we're expecting it to go from, which is starting here in August, September, so that we can award sometime in October. Again, these dates kind of fluctuate a little bit based on the negotiations between the bidders and Balfour Beatty, and also on the final approval of the increment 2 on DSA. So, as a recap, increment 1 is getting to its end. Increment 2 is beginning with hopefully just awarding in October. So that we can go into the next portion of our construction, which is the 5 buildings. If all the bids come into the right place, obviously.
One of the other things that Mikael mentioned a little bit earlier, as you saw there, and I didn't introduce them because they're not here tonight, but the photovoltaic or the solar shade structures that will be included in this project, as required by Title 24 compliance, those are under contract. The board awarded the contract to Climate Tech. So right now we've been working, and I know Mr. Padilla, Lucio Padilla, the principals here from the high school. Right now we've been working and meeting with the high school during the construction meetings, as well as the plan times to impact the school the least possible. We understand that construction, active construction in the school site when school's going on is disruptive, but we are working with administration to minimize the disruption. So the Title 24 compliance, the solar shade structures, in this case, and this will be the first one for us, are also required to have battery backup. So that wasn't part of the requirement for the previous solar shade structures that we did. Just want to make sure that I mention that. So I don't know if the board has any questions.
If I may note, the Climate Tech shade structures, those are planned for November, is that correct?
Correct. Right now, we met with Mr. Padilla and his team, and right now we're planning those for November and maybe into December. Normally what Climate Tech has done here in the school district, and what they normally do is they'll come in, lay down, pretty much take over the parking lot for a couple of days, work on the infrastructure, the beams and things like that. And then as they are completing some of that work, then the term that they use is they'll collapse the perimeter and we'll start giving more room for the school to use that parking lot. So we're trying to minimize the impact as much as possible. And that's why we're looking to do it in the month of November and the month of December.
And then just lastly for me, I don't, a lot of times we don't see what's happening construction-wise, right? A lot of it's blocked out of sight, but again, a lot of the site utilities, the grading, the excavating, that is a lot of work, a lot of the prep work, that's important. So again, going into increment 2 now with the buildings and going out to bid, now we're going to see a bit more visibly a lot more progress, which I think the community will be excited about.
That's correct. As Mikael mentioned, there was a couple of days where there was hundreds of trucks moving dirt in and out from the site to do all the excavation and the over-X that was required.
It just, we are on time and on budget, right? There's nothing that's gonna scare us later on the budget part.
We are going out to bid, and we'll take a look at where those bids come in. We will also continue to work with Balfour Beatty and Sanders and see if there's anything that we need to look at adjusting. So right now, we're expecting to be on budget. Right now, we're expecting to be on time. Not to put blame on anything, but the time that DSA, the Department of State Architecture, takes to review the plans, that's really what's been backing us up a little bit more, right? But yeah, right now we're on budget, and as you well know, because you approved it, the COPs, the additional funding that we required is already in place.
And then the other thing is, I know that we're looking at those materials, and those are the ones that we had looked at that were more cost effective, that had the good durability, you know, for the type of services that we're doing with our kids and stuff. And I know that that's part of why you're presenting those today.
Yeah, that is correct, sir. We had almost 3 months of going back and forth with Balfour Beatty, the district, in determining the right and correct materials based on our budgets and in the value engineering process. That was a lengthy process that has occurred during this whole procedure of getting to this right now. So just take into consideration that the work that you see here is about 3 to 4 months of actual work between contractors and administrators to deliver and present the most cost-effective materials for the buildings.
And if I could add to that, board members, while we were going through this multiple months of review and analysis, doing some value engineering, what we were looking at is more of the design, because what we were not willing to do is sacrifice the integrity of the building, right? We were not willing to, you know, sacrifice the structure or the quality of material that needs to go into our buildings so that they could provide high quality, state-of-the-art buildings for our students, for our community, for our families, for our staff. And so, you know, any of the value engineering that we did, any of the materials that we looked at, you know, to see if we could achieve some cost savings, was based more on the design of it. None of it was based on the structure, on the integrity of the structure, on the integrity of the materials that we will be using. And just to emphasize, because I personally, I've, you know, been here throughout the whole entire time and have seen there's a lot of work that's already out there, but it's the work that you can't see, right? It's the work that that goes underground, and so people pass by and it's like, well, there's nothing happening there unless they were there when it was happening, but you pass by there right now, and it you know, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on. There's a lot that's happened already with the IID, with the different other contractors that were there, water, gas, electric, that's already there, ready to go. As soon as we get through this process, the buildings are going to start going up.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. And you're right, I know, thinking about the other buildings, you know, once they started going up, they went fast, right? You pass one day and the next day they're there. So thank you for this update. Great information. No, I know we continuously talk about this, and you know, you guys give us information on a regular basis. Thank you for this. Any other comments?
You may have said it, but I'm sorry if I missed it. So the bids are coming to us for approval approximately in October. If all goes well, when would construction start?
The process between.
Yeah, right now, once we select the subcontractors or get them approved, then we start the contracting process, getting them on board, insurance, everything. So we would anticipate be starting in November, so towards the end of the year. Once we receive the bids, we go through them, do the buyout, make sure everybody has the scope that they need to have, and try to get the best value. So we gave the bidders a second chance to sharpen the pencil and just make sure that we're all good to go.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I'm glad to see our Calexico citizens' property taxes, at work, because they're forking the money with their taxes, property taxes. So I think we all are, right? So thank you. Great. Exciting to see this. So the new principal's gonna be seeing in a new office pretty soon. Yeah, I'm jealous because I'm a school principal and I don't think I'm ever gonna have an office like this. So thank you. Okay, is that it?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item 2, our school facility needs analysis update. Mr. Jimenez, who's presenting on
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much, President Avina. We're going to call Mr. De La Torre back up to the podium. Today we are presenting an update. This is not the SFNA study. We're planning on bringing that at our September 27th board meeting, at which point the board will have the responsibility to approve our developer fee rates. Today is just an update on the timeline, where things are right now, and kind of like the precursor to our September 27th board meeting, when the board will have to make the vote and select our developer fee rates. But today we want to give you a brief precursor to that and a quick presentation on the process.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you again. As Mr. Jimenez mentioned, we're going to be providing a status report and a timeline for the school facilities needs analysis study and justification reports. This process for us started back, I believe it was April 23rd, when the board approved the contract with school facilities consultants, a third party that does this work up and down with the state of California. They have been working on gathering all the data that they need, crunching the numbers, and putting together. At this point, we already have a draft report. It's not a final report yet. And I'll go through a couple of the milestones that we have been able to achieve thus far. So what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking, as we have done with the previous school facilities analysis reports, we're going to be taking a look at level 2 and level 3 fees. And then we're also going to be taking a look at level 1 fees. Why do I put level 2 fees first? Because the timeline requires us to put out the information regarding level 2 fees. Level 1 fees are pretty much a standard rate that the state of California applies and recommends for the school districts to utilize. So we started the process for the level 2 fees and level 3 fees. And we received the draft from school facilities consultants back in July. For us, we have to ensure that we notify the public and the interested parties. So we executed that milestone. We sent it out on August 10th. Just this past week, we also published the public hearing information or the draft information, and it became available on August 25th. And then, as Mr. Jimenez already mentioned, this will be up for board consideration at the September 24th meeting. We talk about level 2 fees, and then we talk about level 3 fees as well. The state of California requires school districts to implement level 3 fees. Since the time I've been here, and I don't know of any school district that has had to implement level 3 fees. Essentially, level 3 fees are twice that of level 1 fees. And the state of California says if the state of California does not have funding for school construction, then the school districts must impose level 3 fees. We have never imposed level 3 fees. I don't know of any school district that has. But it's important that we comply with the requirements from the state of California. So pretty much what I mentioned, we received the report on July 17th. Right now, I'll move to August 25th, which is we sent out the public notice. We placed the draft on our website if anybody's interested in taking a look at it. On September 24th, we will be opening the board meeting with a public hearing, again giving the public an opportunity to comment on the report itself. And then this level 2 fees take immediate effect. So once the board approves, considers approval of the level 2 fees, then it'll be in effect for 1 full year. And we'll send out the proper notifications to the city and the county and interested parties as well. Level 1 fees, these timelines run concurrent. They're not independent of each other. But as you can see there, some of the milestones that we hit with level 1 fees include September 14th, September 20th. But at the end of the day, both level 1s, level 2s, and level 3 fees are for the board consideration on September 24th. And then the level 1 fees become effective 60 days after adoption of the resolution. The timeline is a little bit different than with level 2 fees, right? This one is 60 days later. This is essentially the same information that I just presented on the previous slides. You may want to know right now on our draft, and I have to emphasize that right now it's a draft, you may want to know what those level 2 fees are. The level 2 fees that was calculated by the school facilities consultants is $11.40. The level 1 fees right now for us, they're $5.17. For this updated SFNA, consistent with what the state of California is doing, are $5.38. And then if we had ever needed to impose or utilize level 3 fees, then that would be twice the amount of the level 2 fees, which would be $22.80. Commercial, right now in the draft, is at 87 cents per square foot. So that's where we're at. And the next step for us is to comply with all the public hearing notices and then bring this for board consideration on September 24th. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
I have a question. So we are a unified school district, K-12. How is that different than district like Raleigh? They have 2 districts, elementary and high school, and their impact fees. Can you explain to us? Mainly for the public to know.
Absolutely. So in a non-unified school district, when somebody wants to build, what they do is they need to go to the elementary school district. Don't quote me on this number, but I'll say like El Centro Elementary is $3.59, right? And then they have to go to the high school, and the high school would be $1. Don't quote me on the math, but $1.70, and then the aggregate of those 2 numbers will be $5.38. So that's the way that it works. In Brawley, in El Centro, Heber is a feeder to El Centro as well. So that's the way that it works with the high school district and the elementary school district.
Because they're level 1.
Because they're level 1, yes, absolutely.
And if I could add to that, so at the end of the day, whether it's a unified school district or an elementary and a high school district, it adds up to the level that they're in, right? So it adds up. If they qualify for level 1, it only adds up to level 1. If it qualify for level 2s, then between the 2 districts, it would qualify for level 2. And we say like if they qualify, because no school district in the state of California assigns their own level, right? Or says, well, we qualify for level 1 or we qualify for level 2. That is based on a calculation that is audited and reviewed, and that's what that school district qualifies for, right? So if we only qualify for level 1, we cannot say, well, we want to qualify for level 2. It's that's given to us. We don't produce that. That is the level that we qualify for is imposed on us.
I have a question, President Avina. For Calexico, what qualifies us to be level 2? What is a qualifying factor for us?
For us, essentially, the qualifying factor is the high school, right? So the state of California says that a school district must provide adequate housing. They use the term adequate housing for the students. And what doesn't qualify from the state of California as adequate housing is relocatables, mobiles, or trailers. In the high school right now, several years ago, in preparation for some of the buildings that have gone up, A2, A3, Measure Q, or A4, and now Measure Q project, some buildings were torn down, some permanent buildings were torn down, relocatables were brought in. In the interim, as we've been able to improve our capacity because we have completed A4, for example, then some of those relocatables have been removed and has improved the amount of housing that we have. So essentially, it's the high school where we still have a lot of relocatables compared to what the state of California says we must have, which is permanent buildings. And I guess the other, and I'll mention this, the other factor is Enrique Camarena is also a fully relocatable or trailer, relocatable is a better name, school site, right? Normally you'll see in a new school site where they'll build a school site and then they'll start bringing in some relocatables, but they have plenty of brick and mortar buildings, permanent buildings.
And so the plan is for the, further out in the future is to transfer Enrique Camarena students to the ninth grade campus, so that should fix that. And then, of course, all of these new buildings that are gonna be built at the high school. So I know the study is, it's always done in the summer, and that's non-negotiable, right? We have to go through the SFNA. So every summer, they go through the study, they collect all the data, and then always in the fall, it comes here for review and adopting. So what does that mean for our construction completion for Measure Q? What's the timeline? Is it gonna line up where next year we might not be approved for level 2?
As a school district, like most school districts out there, we have declining enrollment, right? Declining enrollment was one of the factors why our level 2 fees didn't remain at $12.46. At least on the draft right now, they're at $11.40. One of the other things that's happening throughout the state of California, and this is a good thing, right? So under SB 543, back in January 1st of 2026, the state of California said for ADUs or junior ADUs that are less than 500 square feet, then we don't impose developer fees. However, these ADUs or junior ADUs do have a student generation potential to them, right? And that's part of the study that school facilities consultants do. So it's possible, I can't guarantee anything, but it's possible that because we are building, although we won't have any new permanent buildings from here until next year, because the Measure Q project will actually begin with the classrooms. They're gonna be working their way from the north going towards the south. But it may push us into the following year as well, right? Because of the construction timeline. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
This information also, this document is also used for a lot of our, when we apply for certain grants and certain things, right? And the amounts that we're charging or not charging affect the outcome of us receiving additional funds for special grants or things like that. Am I correct?
That is correct. The state of California makes sometimes funds available under hardship, and hardship requires school districts to collect the level fees that they're eligible for, whether they're level 1s or level 2 fees. Sometimes any deviation from that, I have never seen it, so I don't know if it's necessarily possible or if it has done. The state of California, when we asked for construction funding, we just finished the TK modular building, right? It was a permanent building at Kennedy Gardens, which was mostly funded by the state of California. But the state of California could come to us and say, you're not collecting the level of fees that you qualify for, we're not going to reimburse you, we're not gonna share costs with you. So that is definitely a possibility.
I have a question, Mr. Jimenez. So I know we're in line to, we've been applying and we'll be applying for reimbursements, right, for different structures in the millions, right? So kind of what you're saying, Mr. De La Torre, is there a possibility that we might not qualify for some of those reimbursements if we, depending on how much we charge, if we should go level 1 fees or level 2 fees? Is there a risk there, or is that too important to the future that doesn't matter?
So at a previous board meeting, I can't remember if it was the last board meeting, but we talked about our baseline and our eligibility as a school district, right? And we also mentioned at the direction of the board said we got to get in line for these potential reimbursements under Prop 2, which we have. And so some of those projects that have been constructed that you approved the notice of completion actually at the last board meeting, which was the solar shade structures, those from the get-go, we put them in line. So we're in line to receiving those funds. Now, none of those were requested under hardship. So we don't anticipate that the state of California could say, no, we're not gonna reimburse you because we didn't request hardship on those. Right? The TK modular was also not requested under hardship. As we're finishing projects, then we'll continue to get in line for those potential reimbursements. And as a school district, it wasn't thanks to me, it was done before I got here, but I was happily surprised that when I got here, we were just receiving, I think it was a little bit over $15 million from state reimbursement.
That was my next question. When was the last hardship?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that wasn't a hardship either.
Oh,
The
when was
culinary
last-
arts, the culinary arts was a hardship.
When was the last hardship funding that we got from the state, and how much was it for?
I would have to
Okay,
check.
okay.
That would be before my time, but the last $15 million that we received, those funds were assigned for Measure Q, for the Measure Q project.
So are we gonna be applying for any hardship reimbursements anytime soon? I can't remember right now.
We don't have anything under hardship in the pipeline.
Okay.
We are a community of need. We're a
Mhm.
community that could really benefit if these funds become available. And if they do, we will analyze it and try to get in line for those.
Okay. But as of right now, we're not in line for reimbursements under hardship.
We are
No.
not, no.
So the level 1, level 2 really wouldn't affect us in that aspect.
I don't think that it has
Yeah.
necessarily been tested by
Uh-huh.
anybody yet, so, the state of California says could potentially impact.
Mhm.
If I can piggyback then, because I'm here, and again, thank you for the presentation. Again, tonight, you're sharing information about the school facility needs analysis, right? Part of the process, and as was mentioned, this we started back a couple months ago. It's done annually. So we reevaluate the developer fees annually on this. So we're in the process of sending notice, as you mentioned, publicizing, doing the public hearing. So again, the developer fees are simply, as we're talking about, just to help us with the construction, provide adequate housing for students. And what we're talking about now is, we probably have plenty of space in our elementaries. It's the high school that's holding us back. And as we're mentioning, it's the high school that will soon be near completion, and that may change for us. Probably not this year. I think the analysis you're showing us is, it might be the level 2 that's recommended. But I do think that, this community is trying to grow. And we've had a lot of good conversations with the city and good collaborations with the board and members of the council as well. In the spirit of working together, I think supporting the community, supporting our own schools, because we know if additional housing and students come in and families come in, that will help us. So this analysis that's coming to us in September 24th, right? So again, there's no action tonight, but with this analysis coming to us to ratify or through resolution next month, yes, please bring us the analysis for level 2, but I do think there's feeling, and maybe with support of my colleagues here, that we not only get level 2, but if you can present to us options even for level 1. Give us both, level 1, level 2, so that we can make a decision. You mentioned something interesting right now, that it has not been tested.
Not that I'm aware
The
of.
state has never tested or challenged a lower fee. As far as we know, as far as I know, you mentioned it just now. But I think what I'd like to ask or request with support of the board is then that it come back to us in September, the level 2, the analysis here that we have, level 2, but also bring to us the level 1 options so that we can consider that possibly.
Yeah,
We-
Mr. Trustee Castillo, so absolutely, we could definitely do that, and we'll also bring you some, legal information and legal background case studies of this process. But our job is to present you with the best relevant information either way. The advantages, disadvantages, the benefits, the pros and cons. We could definitely bring all that information for both level 2s and for level 1s, and then the board engages in any discussion here in open session, and takes the information, takes the discussion into consideration, and ultimately it's the board's ultimate responsibility to make that decision and decide based on the best information we could provide you to make that decision for our school community.
Mr. Castillo, the September 24th board meeting and the draft analysis will have both level 2s, level 3s, as well as level 1s, right? Just the timelines are a little bit different, but they both land on the same day, which is September 24th.
So we have that information, the background, so we can make that informed decision.
Absolutely, yeah.
Have you seen an impact in the revenues since January 1st, when anything under 500? Have you seen an impact on the revenues to date?
I have seen an impact. We continue, of course, in compliance with SB 543 to approve ADUs that are less than 500 square feet, 499 less, and they're exempt from paying the developer fees. So we have information as to how many are coming in that are not paying. Have we seen a big change? We've seen an impact. As a matter of fact, I didn't know you were going to be asking that question tonight, but right now for fiscal year 25-26, and I'm still working on closing the books. We're still working on closing the books, but right now our projected revenue from developer fees for 25-26 is 564,763, right? Unless this changes as we're closing the books. Last fiscal year, 24-25, we had $531,000. So not a huge change, not a drastic change. Anecdotally, because I meet with a lot of the folks that are coming in, my team and I meet with a lot of the folks that are coming in to pay the developer fees. Are we seeing ADUs, junior ADUs that are coming in less than 500 square foot? Absolutely. But we're still seeing a lot of folks that are coming in and they're building their 600 square feet, their 650 square feet. Anecdotally, what they tell me is they say, yeah, I could save, but I want to build something and I know I can rent it, or I know I can use it, or I know I can give it to my whatever, right, my family members. So I think it's been a mixed bag. I don't think there's been a trend where I haven't seen all the junior ADUs, nor do I project for all the junior ADUs or ADUs to just be less than 500 square feet. So I think it's been a good law for the state of California to ensure that housing is increased. Although having said that, their dwellings are less than 500 square feet.
If I can add as well, I know there were presentations on the housing element last week or so. So I had a chance to go to both of them and get that information and share it with the board, right, or share it through our office. And there's plans, or identified 53 locations for potential growth and development. Housing complexes, apartments, homes. So there is potential. Now we know not all of them are going to come to fruition, but there is interest, and again, looking at developer fees or maybe some changes in that might help spur that. Again, looking at enrollment down the future, to help increase enrollment in our schools. There's interest, so a lot of potential things could happen in Calexico, so that would be a good part.
Yeah, well, as a school district, we have seen 3 different developers come to us, ask us for a school letter, right, that provides them information that they can provide to their potential customers or potential investors as to what school this subdivision or this grouping of homes would go to. So we've been very receptive to that, and we've been providing the information. We know that with the city's housing element that there is areas out there that can be developed. And I think if we as a community are able to bring in additional housing, I think there's going to be additional housing beyond that, right? It could have a snowball effect. And of course, it would impact our facilities. It would impact the adequate housing that we need to have for our students.
At I think it was a previous board meeting, we had a presentation about a developer wanting to build 400 plus units, right? Apartments and houses. And we said, no, we all agree that that's something good for Calexico. It's good for Calexico, it's good for our families. And so that was very encouraging, very exciting news. So kind of along those lines, I think, next board meeting we have an opportunity to make a decision if we're going to stay with 1 or 2. Definitely we want that big developer that has approached the district, right? Seems very serious about building. That we support that because that's good for our community, good for our families and kids. So you mentioned, I know we have that big developer that's very interested, has met with Mr. Jimenez and your team multiple times. Besides him, has there any other developers wanting to meet with you to talk? Or
Yes, as Mr. De La Torre just mentioned, we have had 3 other developers ask us for a letter that's part of the building and planning process for them as residential developers. And in that letter, for example, they'll say, if we build a house on the, or if we build a project homes in this tract, do you have schools for the students to attend? Yes, we do. What students were the students we attending? This elementary, this junior high, this high school. And so we have been approached by 3 developers. I've met with them. It's looking positive. It's exciting. It's the first time in years, in my experience here in Calexico, where we're being approached. And as Mr. De La Torre said, we're I think being very receptive and wanting to work something out and wanting to make something happen. And it's at the end of the day, you don't know until it's all done, right? You can't look too much into the future, but at this point, it is looking positive.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jimenez.
Now, I know, sorry to interrupt, but I know we had a developer last meeting. I know they seem pretty interested, but what about the others? You mentioned 3. We gave them letters. Have we heard back from them? Because I know the ones from last week, they were here. They were ready to go, ready to present. It looked very promising. I think we all got excited, but at the end of the day, we have to wait. Are they going to come through?
Right.
That's what's important here.
Right. And so really right now it's like on their timeline, right? It's what where they're at in their planning phases. A big part for them when they're building multi-million-dollar projects is their financing for them to build, right? So they have to go out and start getting the soft financing and the hard financing and start getting their investors and to bring them in and getting their folks lined up, to fund the investment and to fund the projects that they're doing. And so the investor and the developer that we spoke with at our last board meeting, they're much farther into the process. They're in the process where we're, as we speak, we're very, very close to working out the final agreement. We're just kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and if all goes well, like I said, a lot of things could happen, but if all goes well, we're planning on bringing that agreement to the board at our first board meeting in September, the September 10th, and hopefully we could be part of supporting the school district in over 400 unit complex where swimming pools, volleyball courts or tennis courts, a weight room, clubhouse. It's a beautiful, and they showed at their presentation the video rendition and the different art renditions. So an absolutely beautiful, beautiful project. And I know the school board provided guidance and direction, and let's see what we could do to make that happen, to help this developer come to town and develop here in Calexico.
And along those lines, we want to support that developer, right? Because what they can potentially bring to Calexico is great for our families and kids. So along that same idea, might as well just support everybody else, like especially those but those other contractors that request the letters. Because if it's good for our students, it's good for our families, I think we should really consider it at the next board meeting.
At the 24th.
24th board meeting, yeah, okay. So you'll bring us that information that we need for us to make that decision, have a discussion in public, and okay. Board members, anything else? Any other comments, questions?
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. De La Torre. We I recommend that you call the superintendent's office and they can assist you with that information. Yes? Okay. So they'll get your number here when you leave. Gio will get your number. Okay? Or they'll give you the number so you can call the correct person. Okay. Thank you. Okay. lost my place. Okay, so that was the school facilities need analysis update. Thank you, Mr. La Torre. Now moving C, comments from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the public related to an item on the agenda or any other item of district business that is not on the agenda. So we have name. We have Lorena Montes.
Lorena Minor.
Sorry, Lorena Minor. Right here? Okay. Thank you. You may come to the podium.
Good evening, Board. Mr. Jimenez. Lorena Minor Montes, proud parent from Bulldog, proud alumni. Let me start all over again. Lorena Minor Montes, proud Bulldog mother and proud alumni. Good evening, board members, Mr. Jimenez. I come up here today to share a lot of gratitude towards a lot of discipline, and I think I'm gonna go back to Ms. Williams for bringing the NJROTC program to the high school. My daughter's currently a senior, and she was appointed the XO, which in layman's terms is the second in command. She would have been here with me tonight, but she's at a travel flag football game. And so last year, let me go back to last year, they had their award ceremony for the cadets, and she went ahead and out of her own time. My daughters are not shy. So she took the time to reach out to the congressman's office and the senator's office, because it was an award ceremony. It was for the cadets, but she turned around and made it for her leaders, which were Chief Lizarra and Chief Johnson. She's learned a lot from both of them, continues to learn from them, Ms. Williams as well. And why am I here with gratitude? Because during the summer, Chief Williams nominated her for a summer session at the Naval Academy with the Ann Arbor, Maryland. I can't even struggle here to say that. So she was one of 900 kids in the US that attended the third session. And he literally took her and brought her back. She was there for a week. She loved it. And, you know, in the beginning of COVID, I really thought she was going to be one of the recipients of a D1 flag football scholarship, because my daughter's in a national championship with flag football. But now she's talking about applying for the Naval Academy. She's writing letters. She's reaching out to everyone she can to try and get a recommendation for the Naval Academy. Apparently, there's only 9% of people that get accepted out of everyone who applies. And currently, Calexico High School has a senior and a junior, and hopefully a freshman next year, thanks to this Navy program. So I'm very grateful as a parent for everything the Navy has done with our students. And the seniors right now are trying to take control with the class. Chief Lizarraga is really helping them a lot. But I just want to commend the program, and hopefully it'll continue, and very, very hopefully that my daughter gets in the Naval Academy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have Lisa Thailenda. Did I say that correct? Thailenda. Sorry, Lisa Thailenda.
Good evening, board, members of the public. My name is Lisa. I come before you to talk about the presentation that just went before us. The school facility needs analysis update is something I've been very passionate about for many years since I worked here in Calexico, and I've tried to engage on multiple occasions with the board. And previously, we've asked for workshops. We haven't had them. Maybe we can figure something out on the board's end. I think that you guys have a much more put together operation going on. Some of you board members I do know. I'm very thankful for the presentation, but I'd also encourage the board members to really do research on how the process is. We, as board members, sometimes don't get all the background because we rely heavily on the staff, which you have a great staff, you know, sharing information and leading the way for the school district. But in terms of leadership, I like that the board members really put something together, not just because it's you know, election campaign season. This affects the moms and pops, all of us. If we're able to bring in more development, and it's really, I'd say, on the school district right now because, the other agency, which is the city, has been doing policies to bring down fees. And if we grow together, we all benefit, especially for our school enrollment. A project is in the works, but it's coming before the board. I'm going to assume to negotiate school fees or ask for something. I'm assuming that. I don't know. But based on what was mentioned. But because there's a need. And that's so exciting. But there's also the small time builders, which is the moms and pops people and closing their garages. And that's something that I've been asking for many years that we look at. Because there is, and it's not uncommon, other school districts throughout the state of California adopt special fees based on special projects and needs. So, if you guys can look into that, I would really appreciate it. I'm sure the rest of the community would really appreciate it. People that I've interacted with in my previous capacity when I worked for the city, they would come crying to me because they wouldn't be able to pull their permit, which they applied for, because when you're going through the process, you're not knowledgeable in all the fees. You don't know, you're not a consultant. So you go and you think that you're getting your building permit, but then you have to go pay school fees. And now money that you spent on your building permits, you can no longer pull it. So there's a lot of things that we can collaborate in the future with your council, your city council, and the school district to help push knowledge and information to our constituents, because at the end of the day, people with cancer can't, extend their ADUs and so forth because they don't have the money, and that's the experience that I've seen. So please consider it, and not just because it's election season. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Diana Nuricumbo. Nuricumbo. Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board. I'm here representing the Calexico electorate, just like you guys. But I want to remind you that before you guys are board members, you're community members. And you've seen firsthand what has been going on in our community. And I understand that your job on this board is to look out for the students and the schools and the employees and the teachers. But you're also looking out for the students and the teachers and everyone else when you help the community develop and provide jobs to these same students that you are now looking out for. So we've met with some of you, and now we're doing it here in public because it's important that the people understand everything that entails with these fees. And I understand that, it could represent a cut to your budget or to the funding that you receive from the state, but you're not the only district in the state, and the other districts figure out a way to make it work. So I think that I want to thank Mr. Castillo for being the only one that actually questioned, how this impacts the community. And it really surprises me because all of you live here. So that should be anytime that you make a decision for the school and for the students. Like I said, it's the big picture, and our students are prepared here to go out and work, and there's no work because the population hasn't grown. There's no development. Big companies will only come depending on population many times, and our population has remained stagnant for years. Let me look at my notes. I want to ask the board members that you ask or you do some research before you make a vote in September, because you mentioned, or in the presentation they mentioned the word qualify. So I would like you guys to maybe find out, because I'm going to find out too, what the other districts in the valley qualify for, because if they also qualify for level 2, it doesn't mean you have to approve that fee. Every other school district, even if every other city in the valley, they might have 2 school districts, but even if you add them up, they're still more than 50% lower than ours. So ask that question, or ask your staff to give you that question. What do the other ones qualify for? If they qualify for it too, then why aren't they charging what we're charging? And I think my time's up. I have other questions, but I'll ask them in September. Thank you.
Thank you. Xiomara Martinez.
Hello, good evening. My name is Xiomara Martinez, and I will speak in Spanish because it's my first language, or Spanglish. Ya tengo 25 años viviendo aquí. So, el día de hoy vengo, aunque no esté en la agenda, a hablar sobre hacer la solicitud a ustedes, estimados miembros de la mesa directiva, por el medio presente. Me dirijo que abran un salón adicional para el grado de cuarto, quinto y sexto, porque los niños que están en César Chávez, o perdón, el nuevo nombre que le dieron a la escuela, los niños se mueven y se mueven alrededor de diferentes escuelas, y me da gusto que usted esté aquí para que pueda escuchar. Quiero leer esto. Nuestros hijos trabajan durante todo el año escolar para aprender, mantener habilidades académicas, sociales y comunicación y comportamiento, tener independencia y tener una seguridad. Para que algunos estudiantes con necesidades especiales, estos avances, se los juro, que toma mucho tiempo, y de repente moverlos a otra escuela es muy difícil, tanto para el niño, para la familia, para todos los que están alrededor de él. Por estas razones, les pido respetuosamente que solicitemos a ustedes, a la mesa directiva, al señor Arturo Jiménez, aquí que está presente el señor de Educación Especial, que puedan mantener algún salón donde los niños se puedan terminar de hacer su curso, tan siquiera toda la primaria, y no se tengan que estar moviendo. Mantener la mayor continuidad posible, maestros, asistentes, rutinas, apoyos, asegurar que el personal conozca las metas de IEP, necesidades de comunicación, comportamiento y sobre todo la seguridad de los niños. Y también esto evita una crisis para los niños. Los niños ahorita van entrando y los niños no saben a dónde se dirigen, no saben quién es su maestro, no saben la rutina, porque la maestra también está conociendo a esos niños. La maestra también está batallando, no nada más el niño, los papás, todos en común. Y por eso estamos pidiendo esta continuidad, estabilidad, seguridad y una oportunidad justa para que nuestros hijos continúen avanzando en lograr y comenzar nuevamente cada año. Y muchísimas gracias, ya se me va a acabar mi tiempo y regreso aquí en septiembre 24. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Gracias. Next we have, I believe it's Brianna Herrera.
No sé cómo hacer eso. No, está bien. It's fine. Okay. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Brianna Herrera. I have 3 special needs kids in the school system, and my main goal is right now that what's come to my attention is that not just at Jefferson, but at various different schools, we have seen the gate open for prolonged periods of time. I know that many schools get maintenance done, the ACs, the groundwork, everything, right? Because we have to keep our schools up to date. That's what we do, right? For kids to go there. But I have pictures, I have proof, I have timelines where at Jefferson, the school gate where the truck goes in and out, the maintenance guy, it's opened from 7 in the morning to 11:30, 12, right? It's happened once this week, twice last week. And my concern is that around Jefferson, there's 3 pedophiles living there, 2-block radius, right? One of them is an active offender right now, and that's public record. Anyone can check it. So my thing is, why is there no one there? Is there no proctors? Can we close the door? Can the maintenance guy get a key so that when he has to go through, he can open it and then just close it? And for me, that's safety-wise. There's special needs kids at Jefferson. There's special needs kids at Desert Valley. I think that's what it's called now. Mains, stuff like that. I've seen personally firsthand that there have been elopements out of the school gate at Mainz last year. I have seen it at Jefferson. I have seen it at Cesar Chavez. It has been brought to the attention of the school principals when it happens, blah, blah, to put in more safety, but nothing's happening. And we have currently 23 sex offenders here in Calexico. There's like 8 in Heber, but there's 6 that are active in violation. My thing is, anyone can go through there. There's no one there. There's no one actively just, and it's as simple as giving them the key and just closing the door. Now, my other thing is, I know that there's been a decline in student enrollment. No one wants to have kids anymore. It's hard. We're a struggling community. I get it. But we have seen a steady incline of special needs children. So why are we not opening more classrooms, getting more staff in that school setting? Because our kids, like she said, they struggle, and we can see regression from just switching them from Jefferson at 4th grade to 5th grade at Cesar Chavez. Regression is real, and it's very hard to come back from it. Because my kid is now talking 2-word sentences, but if something happens at school, he feels frustrated, whatever, he's gonna go back to being nonverbal. And for me to get that going is very hard. I do speech therapy at school. I also do speech therapy outside of school. I do occupational therapy. It's like I go to ABA Monday through Friday, 6 hours a day. There's a lot of things that you guys don't see that we have trouble with. So a little bit of help would work. And I will be back for the next board meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Jimenez, can you follow up on that on the gates and for the staff? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have Alexis Rangel.
Good evening, board members. I'm gonna try not to choke up a lung. Those restrooms right there are very nice. Nice, you know, I wish our kids' restrooms were like that at the schools. Okay, so I wanna start by commending the parents that came up here and are advocating for their children. Before COVID, I was a behavioral interventionist supervisor, and I had to work a lot with those parents. And I would always tell them, you have to be your child's biggest advocate. I would go to IEPs with them. I would advocate for their children. But really, the parents are the biggest advocates. And I would highly suggest for parents to look into uniform complaints with the California Department of Education regarding special education if they feel like their needs are not being met. Secondly, regarding the fees that you guys were talking about, I want to kind of echo what Ms. Tylinda was saying. You guys have more knowledge because it's presented to you on a daily basis. Ms. Tylinda has more knowledge because she's worked in that field. So sorry. And then people like me who maybe have to research it, it would be nice if it was presented as a parent for me to understand it a little bit more. You guys are constantly sending out messages on Parent Square and so forth. And I feel like that's another way that you can reach parents and give them more information. Lastly, before my time's up, I'm so happy to hear that the district loves to follow compliance and so forth. I just want to bring an issue to light that I brought to the superintendent and to Mr. De La Torre. And I'm not going to give names, but the board members can definitely ask to look into it and ask for more questions. I really think it's important that when you guys are approving booster clubs, that you make sure that they are in compliance. When you are a booster club and the school district requires that you have a 501c3, you have to you have to register with the IRS, you have to register with the Secretary of State, you have to register with the Attorney General, and if you do any kind of selling within the city, you also have to register to pay certain taxes, right? If you sell things. I bring that up because there was an incident with mine and in regards to embezzlement. So that is something that I think you guys need to follow up with on your boosters because some of them are not registered properly. And I think the best thing to know is education. Educate these people that you can't just grab money out of a bank account whenever you feel like it. That's not how you do it. There's a whole process to dissolving a booster, especially if it's a 501c3, which the district requires. I'm gonna highly recommend that you have these people do a training on Parent Booster USA. It tells you all the things that you're required to do as a booster or wanting to be a 501c3 because I know everybody usually wants that tax exemption. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Michelle Valdez.
Buenas tardes. Realmente no venía lista para hablar públicamente, ¿verdad? Pero ya que tenemos aquí madres sobre special education, solamente quiero decir que yo soy madre de 2 hijos que están, ¿verdad? Realmente como special needs, ¿no? Mi hija tiene 504, mi hijo tiene IEP. Vengo a hablar porque yo y mi esposo tenemos concerns sobre cómo están equipando las clases de los niños especiales. Mi hijo entró a Jefferson el año pasado de Blanche. Blanche, excelente la clase con Miss Morales, la verdad, mis respetos para la maestra. Más sin embargo, en Jefferson la clase tenía 0 equipo, no tienen asientos, no tenían nada para poder estar listos para los niños con educación especial. Yo y mi esposo nos hemos encargado de donar a las escuelas tanto noise canceling, ¿verdad? Headphones, porque las maestras tampoco no tienen eso. Hemos donado chew toys, hemos donado equipo didáctico para los niños. No es algo que nos pese, todos los niños necesitan ese equipo tanto en la casa como en la escuela. Los hemos donado para que los usen tanto en la casa como en la escuela, ¿verdad? Y lo vamos a continuar haciendo. No necesitamos reconocimiento, no necesitamos un gracias, simplemente lo estamos haciendo porque los niños lo necesitan. Ese es mi primer punto, ¿verdad? Sobre el equipo que están usando en los salones, no tener más cuidado con todo eso. Mi segundo punto es, hace 2 años mi hijo sufrió un incidente en la escuela que ahora se llama Desert Valley, supongo, con la maestra. La maestra no estaba capacitada, creo que ni mentalmente, ni, ¿verdad?, para el nivel de necesidad que tenía mi hijo, y mi hijo sufrió abuso físico por medio de la maestra y sus aides. Gracias. Yo tengo que agradecerle mucho al señor Price porque nos ayudó con ese issue y nos ayudó a la transición de César Chávez a Blanche, y desde entonces el niño ha estado excelentemente bien. Ahora, lo que yo quiero preguntarles es, ¿ustedes cómo están capacitando a los maestros de Special Education? ¿Verdad? ¿Cuáles los pasos que están llevando ustedes para poder decir, esta maestra puede educar a los niños de este nivel, esta maestra no puede educarlos? ¿Por qué? Porque yo estoy muy segura que no soy la única madre que ha pasado por eso, pero no viene a hablar, por miedo, ¿verdad? Porque no hay tanto espacio para nuestros hijos de educación especial. Entonces, también otro issue que nos hemos dado cuenta es cómo están evaluando los niños para decir, este niño se va a ir a esta clase, este niño se va a ir a esta otra clase, ¿verdad? Estoy hablando sobre el assessment psicológico que están haciendo por medio del distrito escolar, porque a mi hijo también se lo hicieron mal y por eso lo pusieron en César Chávez, ¿no? Y ahora mi hijo lo están usando como ejemplo para cómo no se deben hacer las cosas. Entonces, solamente se les pide que tengan cuidado con eso. Gracias.
Gracias. Thank you. Please, Antonio Marón.
¿Qué tal? Buenas tardes. Básicamente no vengo a socializar, no nos conocemos y no creo que nos vamos a volver a ver, sinceramente, ¿no? Pero sí quiero ser muy claro y sincero, ¿no?, con ustedes y con todas las personas que están aquí, ¿no? Como comentaba mi esposa, no voy a continuar con ese tema, ¿no? En algún momento un mal diagnóstico, ¿no?, de parte del personal del distrito. Por consecuencia, atravesamos una situación muy compleja en la que mi hijo terminó dañado físicamente, ¿no? Las personas que hicieron el diagnóstico lo hicieron erróneamente y por consecuencia se clasificó mal. Mi pregunta es, ¿cuántos niños están mal clasificados por estas personas que operaban o operan para el distrito, ¿no? ¿Cuántos niños realmente están tomando clases y tienen problemas de educación? ¿Cuántos son niños problemáticos, los niños que salen mal, los burros de la escuela, ¿no? Y ustedes, pues yo supongo que lo saben, ¿no? O simplemente pues no lo quieren saber, ¿no? O sea, no vengo a señalarlos, ¿no? Pero debe haber alguien responsable, ¿no?, en esta habitación que sabe perfectamente lo que está sucediendo, ¿no? Está muy bien, entiendo el tema de los fees, 400 casas, ok, esto está excelente, ¿no? O sea, ok, perfecto, pero se han puesto a pensar qué va a suceder si realmente se construyen, quién va a ocupar esas propiedades. Adultos mayores, personas jóvenes, no se le diferencia. Son adultos mayores, va a haber un desplazamiento de personas que van a terminar rentando más propiedades, comprando en Caléxico, y por consecuencia va a haber más niños. ¿Y están preparados ustedes con las escuelas? ¿Tienen presupuesto? Sí tienen presupuesto, obviamente, inclusive aunque bajen las tarifas hay presupuesto, ¿no? Pero ¿por qué no hay tantos maestros? ¿Por qué no hay maestros más preparados? $700,000 para 10 maestros es el salario promedio de 10, no es absolutamente nada, ¿no? Para el presupuesto que manejan, lo miré, 27 millones. Pero realmente, ¿por qué no toman cartas en el asunto? Tal vez porque el señor Jiménez, o el señor Aviña, o el señor Castillo no tienen hijos especiales y no saben lo que es eso, de verdad. Tal vez porque no están en contacto. No hablo de un problema de educación, no hablo de simplemente voltearse, ¿no? El punto aquí es la apatía. Y no lo estoy señalando como dije directamente, ¿no? Pero apatía implica eso, no quiero saber, no tengo suficientes problemas. Pero también tenemos nosotros. Y se va a convertir en un problema mayor para ustedes cuando hagan las evaluaciones nuevamente, cuando se desplacen todas esas personas a esos departamentos, etcétera. Cuando se construyen más casas, se solucionan los problemas de la ciudad y tengamos 10,000 personas más y no tengan suficientes escuelas y peor aún no tengan ni siquiera programas especiales para atender a todas esas personas, ¿no? Entonces, pueden discutir cuántas tarifas quieran y mejorar la ciudad cuanto quieran, pero este problema se va a generar y va a ser un problema mayor para ustedes, ¿no? Si lo quieren considerar un problema, ¿no? Porque aquí están las personas que están quejando, ¿no? Entonces, sí me gustaría que vieran un poquito más a futuro, ¿no? O sea, no mañana, no el 24 de septiembre, en los próximos 10 años, de verdad. Okay.
Thank you. Gracias. Okay. Do we have any more public comments? No? Okay. All right. Moving to item D, consent agenda. All items appearing will be acted upon one motion without discussion unless any item is pulled for a separate consideration. And I would like for us to pull item 15. I would like to motion that we approve consent agenda, but pulling item 15 and not approving the leave of absence. 15.
It's under 16.
Oh, 16, okay. I circled the wrong number. All right. So, approve consent agenda. So I would like us to pull items 16, approve it as is, but not approving the leave of absence.
I'll second.
So, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Quick question. So you're pulling it for discussion and then we could vote on that one and discuss it, right?
Well,
On 16.
do I need to pull it for?
So you there's a motion, and then you pulled it, and you started the discussion of pulling the leave of absence. Unless there's any further discussion, it could happen now, or a second could happen, and then it gets approved as amended.
I believe the motion is to approve all of consent agenda with the exception of the leave of absence that is not being approved.
On item 16.
Under item 16.
On the classified report.
Okay.
Is that right?
Was that clear?
That is.
Did I make it more confusing?
No.
No, and
you're-
I
that's
second.
Okay, any questions? Comments? No? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes 5-0. Okay. Information items, superintendent's report, Mr. Jimenez.
Okay, thank you so much. It's going to be a little bit longer today because it's the second week of school. We just started a new school year, and there's a lot to report on. So we are excited to welcome back our 7,518 students. That is our current enrollment, and we still have some students coming in every day. So hopefully that number will increase by a little. But we welcome back our 7,518 students and their families and our over 1,000 employees to another exciting school year. After a week where our staff prepared for the first day of school, attending trainings and professional development, we started our new 26-27 school year on August 17th. I wish all of our students, their families, and all of our staff a successful school year. I am happy to share with you that this summer we have now completed our multi-year process of procuring and installing new furniture in all of our elementary schools. This furniture includes student desks and chairs, teacher desks and chairs, and cafeteria tables. We have been completing this work in phases, and the last two schools were completed over this summer at Jefferson Elementary School and Desert Valley Elementary School. We used to have a mix and match of different furniture styles, different colors, different sizes, and now it's great to see our students and their teachers with a better updated learning and working environment. I want to thank the board for their support in making this happen. I want to highlight the work that took place over the summer vacation, particularly at this point with our expanded learning program. This summer, the expanded learning program provided 24 days of high quality programming, offering students a total of 216 hours of educational, enriching, and engaging experiences. Throughout the summer, students participated in a wide variety of activities designed to promote academic growth, creativity, physical wellness, and social-emotional development. Programs offerings included guitar lessons, karate classes, ballet, yoga, drawing and painting, English language arts, mathematics, science, STEAM, cooking, and critical thinking skills. Students also enjoyed weekly visits to the district swimming pool, where they participated in supervised swimming and water activities. Our culminating field trips provided memorable learning experiences beyond the classroom. Students in grades 1st through 5th visited Legoland, California, where they explored hands-on STEM concepts through interactive exhibits and attractions. Students in grades 6 through 12 participated in a 3-day outdoor education experience in San Diego, engaging in snorkeling, kayaking, beach exploration, and team building activities that foster leadership, collaboration, and confidence. There's a lot of work that takes place over the summer to get ready for a school year. And this includes all of our maintenance operations, transportation, and custodial projects. From deep cleaning floors to new painting projects, plumbing, electrical, roofing, carpentry, to completely redoing the school kitchen at Kennedy Gardens Elementary School. I want to give tonight a very special thank you for all of our maintenance operations, transportation, and custodial teams for their commitment through this entire work. Your dedication and hard work provided our students and staff a brighter and successful start of the school year. I'm also very excited to share about our Students Wellness Project, and we'll be bringing more information and a presentation about this at a future board meeting. But Calexico Unified School District is the first and only school district in the state of California who has been approved for a paid student internship program. Our 11th and 12th grade students and recent graduating seniors are able to apply and get selected to work as student employees, as student helpers, and get paid for it, get paid a salary in our expanded learning after school program. Oftentimes in communities, and especially in smaller communities, paying jobs for teenagers are hard to come by. And sometimes those paying jobs are don't work well with their school schedule, with their homework responsibilities, studying for a test, attending school activities, because some of these jobs tend to be in retail or restaurant type of fast food type of jobs, where they're working till midnight or 11 o'clock at night, where it's hard for them to keep up with their studies or to work on their research paper or study for a test or simply attend the next basketball game or volleyball game or football game. So we're really excited, and like I said, I don't want to steal too much of that thunder right now tonight, but I'm just really excited to be the only school district in the state of California to have been approved for this paid internship program within our expanded learning program for our students, current 11th and 12th graders, and recent graduates. These students, who are part of the first group of the paid internship program, attended a 3-day Leadership Institute in San Diego over the summer as well, getting them ready for the start of the school year, not only as students, but also as employees, as staff members. And so we're very excited about that. And at a future board meeting in the near future, our Director of Expanded Learning, Ms. Esmeralda Garcia, will be providing a lot more details about that. And that concludes my report for today. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jimenez. Next, number 2, ROP Committee. Ms. Fabiola, you can
Yes,
You say something?
can we go to A, the introduction of the IVROP executive?
Yes.
But before we ask him to come up, if you recall, our former superintendent for IVROP retired effective June 30th. And many months before then, IVROP started the planning process of finding a replacement for him. It took several months. It went very smoothly. And I believe it was in May where it finally completed, and very happy to announce that Gabriel Aguirre is the new executive director for IVROP, 20 plus years experience working in IVROP. And I think the organization is in excellent hands under his leadership. And at this time, I would like to ask him if he can take the mic and introduce himself. Thank you. And please introduce your,
Gabriel Aguirre, the Executive Director for IVRP. Tonight I'm joined by Program Manager Alyssa Tirado. She's representing our Educational Services Unit, and a little after I'm done with my introduction, she's going to pass out some information that's pertinent to your district. So again, as President Aviña, members of the board, Superintendent Jimenez, I want to also recognize Ms. Calderon for representing your district on our IVRP board, and thank you for your continued guidance and leadership. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I look forward to continuing working with you and all of you on the board. I'm new to the executive director position, but as Ms. Calderon said, I bring 24 years of experience in providing services to vulnerable populations in our community. Many of such have been here in Calexico as well. We've supported different efforts. I'm excited to hear about your program coming up with providing jobs to students and former students. I echo the statements that you said about difficulties in terms of them being able to participate in school events and activities and hold a job in situations like retail and restaurants. It is a challenge for them, but it is definitely something that's exciting to see. Additionally, in work that I've done, I've worked with some of you in the community with programs, partnerships. Mr. Castillo, you've sat on our board before, and we've supported the opening of your MVP center over at former, I don't know if it's former or current Aurora campus, but for foster youth to be able to utilize and homeless youth to be able to utilize for tutoring and things of that nature. So primarily I was here to introduce myself, but also to express my excitement and my appreciation for the strong partnership that Calexico Unified has built with IVRP over the course of many years. And again, we are open to collaborating and looking for opportunities to work together. As I'm entering into my tenure, I believe that the best relationships are built through open communication, being responsive, and working towards a common goal. And our common goal is supporting the students in your community and being effective and prepared for not only employment, but for next steps of life. And so we're definitely looking forward to collaborate on that. And again, Ms. Tirado is with me today. She's going to share some information that is pertinent to your district. Our Educational Services Unit works directly with your schools, administrators, teachers, counselors on a daily basis to ensure that our programs and services are meeting the needs of your students. And so I'm going to turn it over to Alyssa.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Mr. Aguirre mentioned, my name is Alyssa Tirado, and if I could, I would like to pass out some information regarding your school sites. So through IVROP and our CTE department, we are able to provide 2 career specialists, Ms. Amy Fernandez and Mr. Agustin Urbina, to locate themselves here at Calexico High School to provide services to your students. Those services include career exploration, employability assistance, work-based learning opportunities, as well as interview preparation and academic support. Their main goal is to provide assistance and extra support to our CTE teachers and to our CTE students. On the page behind that, you're actually going to see a year in review of last year's services that were provided to Calexico Unified School District. A total service count of 5,654 students were served through our career specialists. An unduplicated count of 2,428 students were supported, along with 23 teachers. Career exploration opportunities were provided to 3,182 students. 1,005 students from our junior highs were provided CCGI career assessments. Over 1,000 students received career readiness services, and then 260 students received mock interviews. Half of those students from the mock interviews actually received mock interviews from our local industries, which was supported through work-based learning programs. The biggest focus areas that were provided in services for your students centered around career exploration as well as employability. If you go ahead and turn the page over, you're actually going to see CTE going beyond the classroom. And what that essentially means is we were able to provide services that brought forth guest speakers as well as industry tours to our students. So 871 students were provided those work-based learning opportunities. 407 students participated with guest speakers, and those guest speakers were 9 different industries to represent our CTE sectors. Below that, you're going to see the skills and actions portion, and that's essentially the skills events that IVROP provides to our students. Our CTE showcase, where students are able to showcase their skills as well as any projects that they do within the classroom to our community, middle schools, as well as local industry. Our public services skills event, culinary skills event, our CTE leadership training, and we were also able to recognize 19 outstanding students at our recognition ceremony this past year. Through IVRP and our partnership with your school, we also provided 120 industry expert engagement through our multiple skills events, along with our partnership for our advisory meetings within your welding classes, culinary classes, and auto tech classes. And the last thing that I would like to mention is that through the Imperial Valley ROP Community Foundation, we were able to award 14 Calexico High School seniors this past year with scholarships to continue their education. But thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. In closing, again, one of my additional responsibilities is to support and guide the Community Foundation. We're very excited to be able to provide those scholarships to your students. We look forward to continuing to do that. Just put a date on your calendar, May 14th, 2027. That will be our next gala, again, raising scholarships. And before I close with you tonight, I just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Luis de la Torre, who was very supportive and instrumental in getting me to the position that I'm in. But again, I wanted to thank all of you for the time. I look forward to working with you and continue to build on our relationship that we have.
Mr. Aguirre,
Yes,
now
ma'am.
that we have a date for the 2027 Dancing with the Star, I heard from Superintendent Jimenez that there was an interest in participating.
There's plenty of openings.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah, I like the idea.
Maybe on the 24th.
Maybe I'll put in his evaluation so he can. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Thank you, Ms. Calderon. Thank you for that. Okay, moving on to item 3, board reports. Okay, these are informational reports by the board members. No action is taken. So, Mr. Contreras, you want to go first?
Just real quick, I just want to welcome all the teachers, all our staff, our students that made it back and, are now actively passed by the schools. And I see all the kids like really early already on the playground, and it's like, I know that we take the precaution a lot on, like the heat and stuff like that, but sometimes the kids just want to, be in the playground and stuff. And then I seen some that were like completely sweated before they even started the day. It's like it's a little bit hard, and I see that the electrical shades that we now have, are being used appropriately in there. For a lot of our students and stuff, sometimes those are like the main shades now. Then it covers a lot of the ground for them. I want to thank the parents that came in to let us know what's working and what's not working. And I think a lot of times one of the things that we do is we are looking at the day-to-day operations, right? But we don't want them to think that we're not seeing them, or that their student or their programs that they're in, that we don't care about that, right? I remember my second year here is when we started our Office of Ed, moved all the students with the special needs into the school district, right? And we had to do a lot of budget movement, a lot of increases in pay, a lot of re-reviewing of staff, hiring staff, and getting moving before, because they came in the summer and it was like, here it is, we're done, type of deal. It was just like an overnight. So I do feel that a lot of the stuff that you guys are bringing to us, it's important for us to know, and don't wait for you to have to come in to a board meeting, right? Mr. Jimenez's office is here at the district. They're responsible for making sure that, that if something is going on, that you guys come in and let them know. And I know that there's still a lot of growth and things that we need to be doing and that we continue to talk about and, continue to implement. But growth on all areas is painful, right? And it's just something I think that with change and all that stuff, it's something hard for us, for the parents that have kids with special needs to be dealing with that, and we're trying to do all the support that we can. I think on the financial part, we're pretty good at, putting the finances that are needed in there, but there's still a lot of stuff that we need to work out and make sure that it does function. And then I think on the other issues, so we have to take a look at the housing issues, right? We have to take a look at some of the costs and stuff, and I think a lot of times it's easy to make a decision on the financial part of the housing and say, hey, we're gonna do a reduction, but it has an impact, right? It has an impact on future services that we do. It has an impact on whether or not we're preparing our schools or maintaining our schools. Do we get new windows? Is the drainage appropriately? Do we need additional classrooms? The things that don't get paid with, the regular funding, that is specifically for that. So I think as we move forward with it, we need to be cautious about, the actions that we take on it. I know that a lot of people from the city were here today, right? And, we tried to collaborate with them, but there's a lot of stuff that's still in their ballpark, things that they need to be doing. So like we're, because you see it on social media where they just kind of toss it and they go, oh, it's the district that doesn't do this, it's the district that doesn't do that. It's like, well, we're doing the things that we're supposed to be doing. And then there is things that the city's supposed to be doing that, they just need to own up to it, have a plan, right? They came out with the plan, you brought it to us, so it's kind of like, don't be late with stuff and then try to blame somebody else for not doing their job or doing their job, right? And I think, we could continue to collaborate with the city, and we should, but they also need to understand that there's time when they need to do their part. And we'll continue to do that, and we'll continue to look at, how do we grow in our community, the things that we need to be doing on our end, and then there's stuff that just realistically doesn't belong to our board. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Contreras. Mr. Arellano?
Good evening. I promise I'll be brief. Someone said it was going to be short, but took a little bit longer. I want to welcome the students as well. It's been an interesting week, I think, for all of us that are involved in education. At least for me, taking my daughter, it's probably the best time seeing her. I want to thank, because I took her to school this week and last week, I want to thank a few people that come to mind. The teachers, of course, all the aides that are out there. Our director of Sparks, man, I couldn't do it without you, so I want to thank you right now. Food services. I gotta share this story. So this past week, I think my mother-in-law made tamales, and for us, it's very common. But nowadays, kids don't like to eat a lot of they like to eat the chicken nuggets, the pizza, and stuff like that. So she made a comment like, "Oh, I love tamales," and it just caught us by surprise. She's like, "Yeah, I eat them at school." So I gotta, because of that, I have to thank you. I also have to thank Mr. Castillo, the Scholarship Foundation. Yesterday, I was able to attend. My daughter actually received an award for a scholarship. I want to thank you and the board for everything that you do. I know it takes a lot of time. I know you work full time and you're still very involved with the community. So I want to personally thank you. I think you handed out 50 scholarships, 25,000. 50 scholarships, 25,000. So I think Ms. Limon is here as well. She's part of the board, so I think they deserve a round of applause just because of all their hard work. And with that being said, I think just thank you.
That was short, yes. Thank you. I had some notes and thoughts I wanted to share, but I'm going to pivot. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 things I just want to talk about. First and foremost, welcome back to a new school year. I think we'll all say that. Again, we're excited. We get those butterflies in our stomach, you know, anxious, opening up schools, the smell, it all is exciting. And we do wish everyone a great school year. Kind of piggybacking on what Mr. Contreras shared, you know, I am thankful as well that we do have parents that are showing up to our board meetings. We know parents and community don't often come. And it's unfortunate because we do want them to share. We do want to hear their feedback here, but also in the community. And they do share, you know, the positives and the concerns and things we can address. So I'm thankful for that. I think as a parent, and it was shared earlier, you know, they're their first advocate, children's advocate, and that's important and key. You know, I am a parent of a special needs child, so I understand what they were sharing. You know, a child who went through the school system here in Calexico, kinder through 12th grade. So I can relate, I understand, I have that experience as a parent, the challenges that a parent with special needs goes through, but also the joys and the little gifts we get every day. Because, you know, a child who can sometimes just follow instructions, go through a hopscotch sometimes. A child who can respond is a success. Parents don't, you know, that's a success for a parent. The little things that we take for granted are huge for these families. But again, I know this district has provided excellent services, and there's always challenges. Every child is different. Every experience is different. But we grow through those. Of course, her time here in the district was different. Programs were offered through the county, not the transition or the transition that we occurred, you know, recently. But we did have our experience, and it was a positive one here in the district. Important is working with the staff, working with teachers, having that patience and understanding and advocating. I'm thinking, you know, as parents were talking, my daughter going to elementary school, 1st grade. You know, sometimes they march to their own different tune. You can't argue. You can't change. She got up one morning and dressed herself, 2 mismatched pairs of socks up to her knees. I don't recall if they were mismatched tennies. She wore a tutu and her braided hair. And that's how she wanted to go to school. You know, and as a parent, you pick your battles. So, sure enough, let's go. So I remember walking her to school. I had that opportunity as well. Down the hallway, or down the pathway to her classroom. And I'm thinking, what are other parents thinking? You know, what are the kids thinking? But the positives and the joys were, as she's walking down the aisle, other students were coming up to her and greeting her in that morning. Good morning, Danny. You know, I love your tutu, I love your shoes. So that inclusion was important. So as a parent, we have those experiences. As an educator as well, you know, we deal with, you know, following the IEPs, the 504s, including them in the classrooms. And of course, as administrators, a principal, right, or, you know, a county administrator, we're implementing programs, but from a different lens, where we're trying to provide those services, include the families, address their needs and their compliances. So the joy is the special ed. So I'm glad parents are here sharing that, and I thank our team here in the district, Mr. Price and your staff and our administrators for doing everything they can to include and educate our children, all children. And I'm glad and thankful for the whole transition, that transfer, because kids are now included in the whole student body. The second thing I want to mention, talking about our school facility presentation and our timeline, what I do hate is the fact that it coincides with this whole, you know, election season, this timeline, because what we're talking about isn't about elections. We're talking about doing what's right for the district, doing what's right for the future, as was mentioned. I just wish it was a whole different timeline, because I know we don't do this for election season. I know, you know, we're honored as a board, I think, to serve our time, and if our community decides to change, so be it. You know, I think we're thankful for what we've done here, and we can move on. But I do want to share and say that, you know, I'm thankful for the colleagues I get to work with on the board, because each of us bring a different experience, a different background, which is a plus and a positive, I think, in the direction that we move forward in. And I hope the staff, the district, and the community can sense, you know, some of these changes, the collaboration we have, not just here, but hopefully in the community as well, as we move forward, because it is positive. So my thoughts are going, but I just wanted to share those two comments off the cuff, because that's what's on my mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Thank you. Ms. Calderon.
Welcome back, everyone. We have very good communication with Superintendent Jimenez. Diligently every Friday, he emails us a lot of important things that he needs to share with us. And last Friday, from beginning to end, I had a smile on my face, a lot of good information, a lot of good things that are happening. And I just want to point out one of them, because of lack of time. I point out all of them, but one of them in particular is a 3-year project of bringing in new furniture for all of our elementaries. 3 years. Not only classroom furniture, desks, chairs, also for the teachers, cafeteria furniture as well. And I just want to thank from the business department for putting together the RFPs and all the procurement that goes behind that, because we can't just buy what we want. You know, there's processes that need to be followed, from, you know, maintenance for, you know, putting in all that furniture, and just all the staff and everyone that's involved. And now we can say that all of our elementaries have brand new furniture. The last of it was put together over the summer. So remind me the two, Desert Valley and Jefferson, you know, coming back from summer break and you know, walking into new furniture. Facilities matters. It's proven, you know, furniture matters, buildings matter, playgrounds matter. It does have an impact in the academics of our kids. So so thank you for that. And I just want to echo Trustee Castillo regarding the developer fees. It is very unfortunate in regards to the timing, you know, and to all of us voters out there, all of us that vote, when you're looking at candidates for school board members, if we're factoring in exclusively where we stand on developer fees, then there's a problem in our community. Because as school board members, we are not here to address and fix the issue of lack of housing development in the city. Our priority are our students. It's our students. It's not, you know, what's happening with the housing development in the city. Why are we not growing? Do we work with the city? Yeah, we have the responsibility to work with them, to partner with them, collaborate with them, but that is not an issue for us to carry, a burden for us to carry. We are here for our students, and we are here for our staff. So just keep that in mind. You know, it's shouldn't be looking at that in the candidates. So looking forward to the next few meetings, see what options are out there, and may we vote responsibly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fabiola. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. Just want to thank everybody, the schools, for a great second week already, right? Second week of school. And I know how it is at the sites, so thanks to everybody. You know, a special shout out to our classified staff, because I know firsthand how it is, especially the first days, and now that it's very hot, who's out there and like our SSAs, taking care of the kids before school starts, during lunchtime, and after school, out there making sure that the kids are safe, getting in the car, controlling the traffic, all that. I know, I've been there with them, and so my hat's off to them. And also our custodial staff that's out there in the heat, doing whatever it takes to get our classrooms ready, fixing AC units. I know we had an issue with one of the AC units in the new buildings last week. Last week, right? Was it? Yeah. And and everybody was working Saturday, Sunday, late hours to make sure that the AC got fixed. So thank you to all of you for doing that, and everybody. Thank you, Mr. Castillo, for sharing your story about your experience as a parent and your daughter. Thank you. I really appreciate that, and I think the parents appreciate that as well, because it's real, and we're learning. It's a great district. We offer great programs, and we're not perfect. Like, there's no district that's perfect, right? We're a learning institution. We're always learning, always getting better and better in how to best serve our kids. So, Mr. Castillo, as you were sharing your story, a quote came to mind that I was reading the Ivy Press before I came in, and because one of our principals was mentioned in the Ivy Press, and I wasn't gonna say anything, but when you were sharing your story about your daughter and all kids, right, including all kids, there's just I'm gonna quote the principal at the new high school, the new principal at the high school, Mr. Padilla, came out in the newspaper. I'm gonna read his quote that he reported to the newspaper. It says, "Every student who walks through our gates deserves to know you belong here, you matter, and we believe in you." And that speaks to who we are, right? All the students that we walk through our doors, regular ed, special ed, migrant, ELD, at risk, doesn't matter. They all matter, and that's important. So, Mr. Padilla, I appreciate your words. And again, that came to mind because I was listening to you speak, Mr. Castillo. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And that's what we're here for, the kids, right? We make decisions, the hard decisions. People don't see what's happening behind the scenes, but we do the right thing. And you're never wrong when you do the right thing. Right? So thank you, everybody. And also shout out to Jefferson Elementary School. Was it? The Friday before school started, I went to their event, and I went to their event not because I was a principal there before, because that was the only school that had an event that day, and I was available. They had a tailgate event. They invited parents to come to the school, go check out the classroom. Not meet with teachers because they're busy working, but go check out the classroom, locate it, find out who your teacher is on paper. There were free backpacks with supplies, hot dogs, and I went over. I thought I was going to see, maybe 40 parents, 50 parents. But as I was driving in, the line was from the gate all the way to almost to the street. They probably had at least 200 parents there. So that was pretty amazing. Probably more. The cafeteria was packed. So thank you to Jefferson for doing that. I loved it so much that I copied their idea. My school didn't start until a week later. I went back the next day and I told my staff, hey, we're doing this. We called it different, but I copied it. Right. Yeah, I just copied it, Yeah, but I modified it, so exactly. Yeah, so shout out, thank you to everybody for all the great work that you do, and safety is our number one priority. Mr. Jimenez, like was mentioned earlier, you're always giving us information on a weekly basis. You're telling us everything that's happening. And I know that our director of safety is you keep us informed of what he's doing, his projects, his communications and trainings he has with staff and updates and concerns, and you keep us up to date. So appreciate that. Safety is at the forefront. But the comment that was made up at the school gates open, just check on it. I mean, it can happen. I mean, things happen, right? But just follow up, just to make sure. And that's it. So thank you, and we're gonna have an amazing school year. I know. All right, that's it. Okay, moving on to 2F. Action items. Consideration and action approval of the following items. Number 1, first reading and waive second reading of Administrative Regulation 4161.11, 4261.11, and 4361.11, Industrial Accident Illness Leave. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Questions, comments? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Number 2, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and FaciliServe for the installation of 4 additional power units in the gym bleachers at William Moreno Junior High. A motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, questions or comments? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. 3, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Monarch Photography to offer photography lessons for the Sparks program at Aurora High School for the 2026-27 school year.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, no, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Amended agreement between San Diego State University Research Foundation and Calexico Unified School District to be extended through June 30, 2027.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, any questions or comments? No, okay, say aye for, sorry. Aye if you approve?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Number 5, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and the Imperial County Office of Education for professional development for dual language immersion teachers at Dual Elementary School for the 2026-2027 school year.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. 6, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County Office of Education for participation in the AmeriCorps program during the 2026-2027 school year.
I have a quick question. Can you share with us a little bit how these members help throughout the school district?
Absolutely, we can, and to do that, is Miss Ramirez here? Lisa? I don't see. Where's she at? There she is. Let me ask our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, who has a lot of information and specific details about our AmeriCorps program. Ms. Ramirez.
Good evening, Elisa Ramirez, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. Different schools are selecting AmeriCorps. Not every school picked AmeriCorps, but the way they're being used right now is they have a rotation sessions among the different grade levels, and in the schools we have an RTI, a response to intervention time built in it, and so they're staggered. So then the AmeriCorps will pull students during that time so that we don't pull them during their core content area. So they might be like right now, they might have a couple of students from the kinder classes, and then the following hour, they're now going to the next RTI session, which might be first grade and so forth. So we're using them during our intervention time so that there's no impact to core instruction.
Okay.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Okay. And I just want to make a comment on that. No, it's been my experience with. No, you're good. You can go. It's been my experience with AmeriCorps in the past that it's a great asset to have at schools. They get trained by ICOE. They get training. They still meet every Friday, Lisa. Yeah, they still meet every Friday. I think the AmeriCorps, they have a half day Friday, and then they meet at ICOE for trainings and meetings. So the constant collaboration helps them develop their skills and helps students. And before they could only work with 9 kids, and only those 9 kids. Now they can expand to other kids, correct? So that's been an experience. So I'm looking as a principal this year to get some myself at my school, in the other district where I work.
You get a lot of ideas from Calexico.
Yeah.
Hey,
why not? If I could share another comment before we vote. Just a curiosity and question, don't need an answer now, but curiosity, how many of past AmeriCorps members have now been employed by this district as a instructional assistant or as a teacher or elsewhere? That'd be a question that I don't need an answer now, but just
We could try to look into that. I know that a lot of our instructional assistants are aspiring teachers, right, or aspiring educators, and so I think there's a good likelihood that some of those, and not only AmeriCorps, but even our own instructional assistants, right? Gen Ed, special ed. Just last week, Mr. Guerrero, our assistant superintendent of HR, sent out an email to all interested classified employees who may be interested in becoming teachers. And it doesn't have to be instructional assistants. It could be any classified employees, and there's grant funding to support them doing that. So we do see a handful of people, a lot, I would say, that that resign from their instructional assistant position or classified position because they have to go and work on their student teaching, or they're working on their credential, and so there is a pipeline for them who may want to do that. So it is exciting work.
If I can add also, the program about having students work 11th grade, 12th grade, like we see it all the time. They start off as avid tutors. From avid tutors, they go to subbing, from subbing to teachers, from teachers to administrators. So it's, to your point, I think it's important that we try to keep them and train them, provide them the education, the experience to hopefully become, they're going to be our future, teaching our kids. So.
And to kind of answer your question, Mr. Castillo, it's been my experience over the past 16 years as a site administrator that many come back as a teacher or full-time instructional assistant. I see them. I think one of your senior directors you work with was at AmeriCorps in Alted. I'm not going to say a name, but I think you know who I'm talking about. And great job. No, she's excellent. Started as AmeriCorps. Okay, so is there a motion to approve?
There was a motion and a second.
Second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Lost my place. Okay. 7, adoption of revised job descriptions, bus driver, instructional assistant, and instructional assistance behavioral.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay. Public comments, closed session items only? Nothing? All right. So announcement of convening into closed session. Okay. See you, everybody, in a couple of hours. 4 hours. Yeah. Thank you.